Hello, I'm Stephanie Pfirman, and together with Professor Shirley-Ann Behravesh, we're working with students in the Masters of Sustainability Leadership program. They're working on developing their capstone projects. Today, you will hear from 4 students who are working with the city of Peoria on their sustainability action plan.
The 4 students you'll hear from today covered quite a bit over the last few months, from designing and hosting thematic town halls with residents, designing, administering, and analyzing an extensive citywide survey, developing the city's first set of KPIs, procuring material for the city's sustainability micro lectures, and finally designing the city's first sustainability matrix. The students have done a really great job stepping up to the many challenges, and we hope that this will result in a solid action plan that the city can use to advance its sustainability goals.
Hi, and thank you for joining me. My name is Lanessa Nelson, and today I will be introducing the Sustainability Action Plan that we conducted in Peoria since the fall of 2020. Throughout this project, I have worked with the different city leaders as well as my group members, and today we will be showcasing what we have done throughout this action plan, as well as how we have created the dissemination plan in order to do so. So the two things that I will be talking about personally today is the sustainability dissemination plan and the survey that was conducted throughout the community. And I will also be talking about the 6 livability goals and the matrix that was delivered at the end, which then ranked those livability goals. After that, Kayla will be discussing the community listening sessions. Lauren will then be talking about the KPIs. And lastly, Casey will be talking about the community outreach and engagement that was conducted in order to get this resident survey and dissemination plan off the ground. So, what went into the dissemination plan and what was all a part of that? So, obviously, we talked about those different things, and each member will be talking about those a little bit more in depth. And that all comprised what made the dissemination plan and how we made sure that it was successful. So, why? Why did we want to update the Sustainability 3.0 plan and what was Peoria's goal? So, the purpose of this was to make sure that obviously it was time for a new 3.0 plan. It was just time to make sure that we were including new sustainability initiatives, making sure that we had updated course of actions, made sure that we took into account all the different population growths, and as well as new technology that has come out since the last one. So, why did we want to do it in this manner? So, the reason why it was structured the way that it was to make sure that the residents had the voice and had the platform to make sure that they were being a part of the new sustainability plan. So, the mission of Peoria obviously is to create a healthy and sustainable, well balanced place to make sure that the quality of life is being withheld within the community for its residents. And throughout this project, we really wanted to make sure that mission was upheld. So, a little bit more of why do the Peorian residents play such a huge role within this project? Like I touched a little bit on, the reason why this plays such a huge role is because we really wanted to structure the 3.0 plan around the residents and making sure that we were getting their feedback when it comes to the different categories and initiatives when it's coming to the 3.0 plan. We wanted to make sure that we were gauging their current educational status on the sustainability initiatives and different sustainable actions. We wanted to make sure that we knew what we were starting with and where we could work from. We also really wanted to hear from the community members to hear what they wanted. Sometimes we go about as leaders and we forget that it impacts other people at different levels. And we really wanted to make sure that every person, no matter the demographic and no matter where they lived within Peoria, that they were being represented. So, the survey categories. These are the different survey categories. And as I dive in, we will talk about these a little bit more. But what was really important was making sure that all of these different departments were represented in a way that they were all equal. And we wanted to make sure that every single one had the opportunity to have their feedback and make sure that the residents were getting the chance to talk about each category. So, a little bit more about the survey and some more logistics on how that went. We originally met in October and we went through multiple phases of different drafts and different survey questions. And finally, by January 15th, it was ready to go and we were able to launch that. And it actually closed on March 15th. So we had all the data from January 15th to March 15th, which then was comprised of 47 questions. In those, we had varying different kinds of questions, all from multiple choice to open response to ranking questions and different forms of questions that the residents were really able to be interactive with. We wanted to make sure that each question was structured in a way that really maintained a high level of integrity when asking these questions and making sure that the residents were able to comprehend them and they weren't overly structured in a manner that was too beyond comprehension. We wanted to make sure this was very easy to follow and making sure that they had the chance to actually answer these in a productive manner. So, what is the best part about this survey and about this aspect of the project is the fact that we had over 780 responses, which is amazing. And we surpassed our goal by 144% because we only originally thought we were getting around 300 responses, which is awesome to see that the residents are taking this into their own hands and how important it is for them to be a part of that survey. And while there was initiatives, I think that helped a little bit, but I do think that we gained a lot of data from this and they were really genuine answers when it comes to those open response as well as just overall survey data. And I think that going into the 3.0 plan, we'll be able to use that data in a very structured and positive way. So one of the examples that I wanted to talk about was one of the surveys that I thought one of the questions from the survey that was really interesting to me. This was one of the questions in the health section. And this question was ranking what was most important to you. So obviously, low crime was ranked very high. And we really wanted to make sure that we took questions like this into consideration. And while some people are like, well, what do you mean by low crime? We wanted to make sure that when we build the Sustainability 3.0 plan, they were implementing initiatives that also had to do with low crime. So one of the hurdles and challenges that will come from making the 3.0 plan is making sure that these kinds of questions and making sure that these kinds of responses are definitely reflected within that 3.0 plan and making sure that the voices of the community members are heard. So as I get into the matrix and what that kind of entails, these are the 6 livability goals that were predetermined by the city leaders. So as you can see here are the 6, and it was our goal to rank these different sections based on the survey data that we received. So out of the 47 questions, we had to go through each section and then rank how they stacked up to these livability goals. So for example, we had healthy neighborhoods. How did that stack up in our different, communication, waste management, in water, in urban form, just different ways that we can rank that and making sure that those are being met. So as you can see here's a little bit more of an example of what I was just talking about. And on the side, you can see the different sections and different categories. And then along the top, here are the 6 livability goals. So as you can see here, they are ranked. And while we never got anything that was a complete consistent, so nothing really hit a 5, Peoria really did stay within a lot of high 4s and 3s, which tells us that they're doing a lot of great things. There's just always room for improvement. So without further ado, I'm going to pass this over to Kayla, and she is going to talk about our listening sessions that we conducted. Thank you, guys.
Hello, everyone. So for the Project Cities Peoria Sustainability Revamp, I was in charge of hosting the town hall sessions. Now, the town hall sessions allowed for the residents to really communicate what they wanted with the city, what they've seen needs to be changed, what they feel would be essential to the growth And information was given to the residents that they wouldn't be able to hear anywhere else. So facts about each topic was given. There were 8 different categories that we discussed during the duration of the town halls. And it allowed for question and answers for the city officials. So the residents expressed their concerns, what the future impacts of the new sustainability action plan may be. And the city officials were really able to get down to the nitty-gritty and uncover all those stones that they wanted to really have answered. There was a lot of good information that was handed out during that time, and I think that it was quintessential to the progression of the town hall sessions. There were some challenges within the town hall sessions, and I do believe that a lot of those challenges came because it was in the virtual setting. I feel very strongly that we would have been able to have higher attendance if it was face-to-face. I think there would have been a little bit more interest. I think there's just a lot of difficulty with people just being virtualed out. Unfortunately, these town halls took place during the high prime time of COVID, and we were unable to meet face-to-face due to social distancing requirements. And I think that once people have been on their virtual jobs all day long, sitting in an hour-long town hall virtually for the city was just out of the question in some cases. Now, there were also some technical difficulties, user errors. We had some people trying to speak with mics on, unable to log in, and there was some difficulty conveying the messages and receiving feedback from each other. We were getting the feedback in a slower time due to connections and things of that nature. So just a couple tidbits here and there with the virtual town hall settings and the challenges that it may have caused. So within the virtual town halls, the whole goal was to discuss the community, discuss with the community any of the changes that we were going to be had, and ultimately give a lot of transparency. With that transparency, we really hope that there's less pushback into any changes or future things that may be implemented from the Sustainability Action Plan. And really and truly, the ultimate goal is for the city to become their own self-sustainable entity. So really be able to thrive and build upon their own settings. So we really wanted to tackle all of the challenges of sustainability. And as I stated earlier, there were 8 different categories pertaining to the current needs and wants of the city: water resources, waste management, community health and wellness, community engagement and education, as well as urban reform, building and energy, natural forestry systems, et cetera, et cetera. So we really wanted to stay to those current needs and wants of the city. And the information that we gathered from the residents really tackled some of the high time prime programs that they were seeking. A lot of the discussions revolved around what we can offer, what is currently being offered. And a lot of the residents that attended the town halls were actually unaware of all of the programs that the city already currently does offer. So they were able to get some information from the town halls in reference to that. Obviously, a lot of those programs are not currently up and functional if they were face-to-face due to the COVID pandemic, but we do expect that to be turning around very soon. So as you can see, this is my portion of the project. The town halls were really quintessential, and they helped us build a very strong rapport with the residents of Peoria. And I think that that is absolutely vital moving forward into the next stage of this project. Thank you so much for listening.
Hello, my name is Lauren Bataska, and today I will be talking to you about key performance indicators. The key component that sets a Sustainability Action Plan 3.0 apart from previous Sustainability Action Plans done by Peoria is that it will include KPIs. One of the most powerful tools we are using to track and monitor our project are key performance indicators. For those of you that are unfamiliar with KPIs, it's a way to measure how effectively an organization is achieving key objectives or goals. By using KPIs, we can evaluate how successful we are at reaching our targeted goals. As more cities are shifting their focus onto sustainability, we can see how powerful KPIs can be in sustainable success. For example, the city of Scottsdale releases a quarterly performance report regarding key performance indicators it's tracking. One of their goals is to achieve a 30% increase in solid residential waste diversion by FY20. The black line on this chart represents the 30% goal. The green bars are the quarters this goal was achieved, and the yellow bars are the quarters the goal was quite not achieved. As you can see, this is a great tracking tool and can show you where you're succeeding and what areas need just a little more improvement. Now you have a clear idea of how useful KPIs can be in monitoring and tracking sustainable progress. I can illustrate how I started to craft the KPIs for the city of Peoria. I focused heavily on research of KPIs being used by other sustainable-minded cities surrounding Peoria, mainly Phoenix, Tempe, and Scottsdale. I also looked at our 700 plus survey respondents and saw what the residents really wanted, what information was really important to them, and making sure that we were going to track broader things that the residents really cared about and wanted to know more about. So my objective was creating KPIs that were easily trackable, we had data on already or could get easily, and information the residents cared about, but also making sure that it was also KPIs that surrounding cities were reporting to their residents so that we were in line with what other cities are doing as well. Here are a couple of the KPIs that I have created for the city of Peoria to use in their sustainability action plan. Their first one is to achieve a citywide 10% tree and shade canopy by 2000XX. The date is still being developed, but the base year is 2019, and we currently have a 6% tree coverage. This is really important in desert climates for how hot our summers are. The second one is under community engagement education. When reading through the survey responses, youth education was incredibly important to the residents. So reporting the number of students that took part in Project Wet Youth Education is something that they would definitely want to know about, and we are using the base year of 2019.
Outreach is essentially a bridge of communication, and that communication must be tended and cultivated to stay relevant and vibrant. Offering a public survey and hosting listening sessions have been very helpful in maintaining that communication bridge, but continuing outreach efforts are important. Looking at survey results, it became clear that the citizens of Peoria want more opportunities for sustainability education, and they want more engagement through digital platforms. The city of Peoria already has an amazing educational outreach program named Sustainable You, which offers workshops and informative videos to help citizens understand how to incorporate sustainability into their homes and communities. Through research on past workshops and videos, an opportunity presented itself to strategize audiences and optimize Sustainable You learning modules to increase citizen engagement. To better show the opportunity for change within the Sustainable You program, I created an example lesson plan framework. In the past, Sustainable You modules have been oriented towards all citizens, and that's okay, but by being strategic and choosing an audience, a lesson or presentation can be tailor-made for them, using imagery and examples in which they relate to and learn from. When choosing an audience as the focus of my example lesson plan, I was inspired by the insight offered from a Peoria public school teacher during one of the public listening sessions. When speaking about his class and their sustainability-focused projects, he had expressed his students' interests in sustainability, and he wanted to guide them in gaining deeper understanding. He expressed that he saw a need for more city-led workshops and activities geared towards his students, high school-aged young adults. I thought this was a great opportunity to build on to showcase a learning module with a specific audience, and I began to research how teenage persons learn best. I was delighted to discover that teenagers are the optimal demographic to teach. According to research by Lawrence Steinberg, their brains have a greater capacity to learn. Also, they are social influencers with connection to the community. They enact change in their homes, and they're quick to adapt and engage with new information. Getting to know my chosen audience and learning how to best interact with them led to researching concepts of microlearning. Microlearning enhances learning and performance in the most efficient and effective manner possible through short pieces of content. This is especially useful when presenting a large amount of information. Almost everyone can agree having to memorize a large amount of information in a short period of time is difficult. Memory retention is thought to work better when topics are broken down into individualized sections, and attention spans are more receptive when the information being presented is focused and engageable. The teenagers of today are highly engageable through easy to access digital platforms. And like most teenagers throughout history, many of them are highly interested in food. This information was heavily influential in choosing a topic and platform for my example Sustainable U module. As a sustainability leader and environmental activist, I know that there is a critical need for addressing food waste, and there would be no better audience to start with than the teenage people who are highly interested and can be instrumental in making sustainable changes in their households and communities. Because of my teenage audience, my food waste focused lesson plan is heavily composed of microlearning concepts and action opportunities that can be used both in person and on digital platforms. This includes a short video meant to supplement the lecture and activities. Since the pandemic, all Sustainable U modules consist of videos accessible through YouTube, which is then shared across other social media platforms. Through research, I noticed that current format for Sustainable U videos are generally long form, which range between 5 and 20 minutes in length. This is great for highly invested or high interest persons. Taking into consideration best practices for engagement and education with my chosen audience, I realized that while the information provided in the long form videos was interesting, young people might have a difficult time participating. This is due to perceived time and effort required to watch, and if they did participate, they would have trouble remembering and applying the content. Research on making effective educational videos for teenagers shows the maximum median engagement time for a video of any length was 6 minutes. Taking into consideration social media trends to ensure accessibility and increase viewership across digital platforms, most shared videos should ideally be less than 2 minutes in length. With the support of an experienced video producer, I was able to write and direct a food waste focused microlearning video to help supplement the learning module and as an example for future city productions. It is under 2 minutes in length and uses a vertical orientation, which is geared towards viewership from a smartphone device. I was inspired to use a current social media trend that establishes relatability, ownership, and acknowledgement through something called a finger challenge. Using relatable and engageable content will reinforce the message presented throughout the module, which will increase memory retention and help spur subsequent action. Peoria's 2021 sustainability survey results determined that while most survey respondents embrace and approve of further sustainability action, they want and need incentives to inspire them to participate. Since an incentive not only worked in increasing public participation with the survey, but was also a reoccurring theme in survey results, I recommended the advent of an earned certificate for completing Sustainable U workshops. Offering the opportunity to earn a certificate will provide a tangible way to acknowledge the time and effort spent by the citizen to increase local sustainability knowledge. In addition, it will also empower the individual to be more engaged and encouraged to pass that knowledge on into the community. Earning a certificate also allows a citizen to receive community-wide acknowledgement and accolades which influence others. This plan would subliminally enforce the ideal of sustainability being a positive change for all involved and could entice deeper participation within the community. Peoria is home to some of the best and friendliest people who care deeply about their community and sustaining a great quality of life for all. By keeping an open channel of communication with its citizens, the city of Peoria will have the input and support necessary to continue driving sustainable change in their community. Each person's unique perspective is important when it comes to initiating change. Seeking out those connections through strategic outreach and creating platforms for those perspectives to be heard is vital. Through the survey and public listening sessions, Peoria was able to forge communication pathways and create momentum that will continue moving them towards their commitment of seeking to reduce the city's effect on the environment, conserve energy, and encourage citizens to meet their needs without compromising the needs of the future. The use of key performance indicators will be helpful in driving progress forward by providing transparency to residents and allowing for accountability and spurring collaboration. The results from the survey and listening sessions are clear. The citizens of Peoria are looking forward to meaningful change and action to maintain and improve their quality of life, but these goals will only be accomplished together as a community. By working together, the city of Peoria and its citizens will keep driving change into the future. Thank you.